Representative just listening about the executive order for the mask mandate that's been going on. You said you'd reevaluate it today. Dr. Lipp couldn't be here today, or Rance couldn't be here, so I guess I'm the chosen one today. So that's why I'm really not on the agenda or anything. I did bring my numbers to Scott when we first started this. At our EOC meetings that we pulled on Fridays, we just decided to do the positive cases. And so we did November and December. Scott, I believe Dr. Lick sent you a graph. Did she email?
No.
Yeah, you and Leslie are on those also. I didn't bring it.
I have it here somewhere.
Oh, I think she did.
She just did a graph from week to week on the difference on how many are the difference from Sherman County was on there, Thomas County, and Cheyenne County. Leslie has a copy there. So that's what Dr. Lick wanted presented today for you guys. And then you have the numbers that we do. This one is from, these are the actual positive cases on the Monday, Wednesday, Fridays that we report. We do them three times a week, except we did not do it on Christmas Day, and we will not do it on New Year's Day. So these are the positive cases as of yesterday, the current ones. And then, of course, you have the graph there that Roger's looking at from Dr. Lick.
So you suggest we stay with the mask still, or?
You know, I'm obviously not the local health officer, and I'm not the Board of Health, so it's not technically my decision. From the standpoint of public health, we are just finishing Christmas holiday, and so we are testing due to the fact that families getting together, and so it takes about 10 days before you really see those holiday gatherings. So, you know, we have Christmas and we have New Year's. So I am not surprised if we continue to increase for a couple more weeks.
How's our hospital capacity?
We have some patients. At this point, we do not have a COVID patient. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not treating somebody for COVID, but officially, testing-wise, we do not have a positive case in the hospital.
So, trying to figure out how I want to ask this, but there are available beds in our hospital at this time?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
We have available beds.
Okay.
For COVID and non-COVID beds.
Are we finding any place, have we had to fly anybody out recently to another location?
For COVID?
For COVID.
No.
I know those places were becoming pretty far and few in between.
Yes.
Is that still the case?
It is in the larger towns, you know, Denver, Kansas City, even Topeka, all of those.
So I guess my question is, if we have a patient come into our facility and the need arises for a larger
yes.
medical facility.
They are freeing up some.
All right. Okay. That's what I wanted to hear.
As Chris was saying that Colorado stepped down a level on their COVID.
Well, with their new strain, who knows?
This morning, I guess, the governor did it.
I know that guy. How you doing?
I care about this. You figured out?
Steve John.
We're all been holding about the same.
And I was at the auction when they.
Yeah, we get some recovered, then we get new ones. I mean, you know, early this morning we were, you know, this was yesterday, we're at 16, but hopefully we can get some recovered today. However, we'll have some new positives that'll take that place. So we're trying to stay right in that vicinity right now.
15 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And like you look at Thomas and Sherman, we go from 0 to what?
40.
40, and they go from like 30 to 100 or their draft is
Yeah.
a lot more basic.
So the real question is whether you guys want to extend this mask public health order.
What did our board decide?
We haven't met for,
We haven't been able to
I
meet.
mean, it's hard for me to make a decision without some input from Dr. Lick or the hospital or,
Well, I think given that scenario, I'd continue on until I got the information I was looking for.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to provide through these numbers.
Right.
And the comparisons with the counties is that, I mean, if you look at the positive rates going clear back to November, you can see that there is a trend whereby it's pretty consistent in regards to the positive cases, pre-mask and post-mask. And so are the masks effective? Well, you want to try and do everything you can to prevent the spread. But when you look at the numbers, I mean, it's still pretty consistent if you
Right.
are or aren't.
It'd be interesting to see those numbers without masks. Of course, that's impossible, but, so you don't know the effectiveness of it.
Well, you do in as a on this sheet, because in November, I mean, this public health order was not enacted until November 23rd.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see the numbers.
Well, I can appreciate what Mila, the point she's trying to make about the Christmas holiday. If we're going to see some surges from the holiday, it's going to be within this 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you would to extend it for 2 more weeks, see what kind of numbers you're looking at,
Yeah.
that might be a better time to make that decision.
You get through the next few weeks and you get through this holiday get-togethers, and then I think you'll see a big difference. And, you know, everybody, and then we're also, you know, starting to give the vaccine. We are getting small dosages in, and we are definitely giving those, and we are doing the Governor Kelly's executive order for phases 1 through 5, and so we have prioritized those, and obviously we're doing healthcare workers, all the frontline workers first, EMS, those types right now. So we are doing that, but it's, you know, it's small doses that are coming in, and we're definitely prioritizing those and getting those done. Obviously, we're still on the first round of the vaccine, and it's a 2-shot series. We have had both Pfizer and Moderna. We've had more Moderna come through the county versus the Pfizer. So Pfizer is 21 days till your second shot. Moderna is 28 days. And so we've started a spreadsheet, and we are putting them in, categorizing them in the phases that they are. So we feel like we've got a good handle on that. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's just you're going right now. You're in the middle of the holiday. What's happening? We're seeing a little rise. We're getting some recovered. We're seeing a few more get on the positive spreadsheet, you know, for the week. But right now, people are still at that point of holiday gatherings.
So it would seem that if they were dropping, we could probably do away with the masks, but you know, they're
Yeah.
pretty steady. We ought to stay with it for another couple of weeks
You
anyway.
know, through this whole thing, if anybody wants to learn anything about it, is washing your hands and using hand sanitizer is huge. That's just going to be a normalcy. I mean, I've been in public bathrooms before and have seen somebody walk out without washing their hands, and you just want to just tackle them and just say, just wash your hands. I mean, it helps so much. So, I mean, those are little things that can help prevent a lot of these numbers here. So I do think more people are starting to wash their hands and use the hand sanitizer. And we've also tried, you know, putting them out in the hand sanitizers in the school, the county here. Any place that we can, we had some delivered from the state, we have what, 3,000 little bottles?
What, 30 cases?
Yeah, I mean, we've been delivering hand sanitizer to people just so that they have them. It's just a new norm right now.
Yeah. So it raises back to the original question here, do we want to extend it, terminate it?
I think we should extend it a couple of weeks.
Till the 15th.
Well, it's basically one of those orders that remains in effect until it is rescinded.
Rescinded.
So the decision is, are you going to rescind it today or just leave it in place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I think it's a consensus of the commissioners to, we're going to leave the mask order in place for an additional 2 weeks until we can see what kind of numbers we're looking at that time.
Hopefully in 2 weeks it will definitely be down. We should definitely know, we should be through the holiday get-togethers and, you know, more vaccine will be distributed and so
Okay.
hopefully, fingers crossed on that.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mike.
you bet, thank you.
The bathrooms are reopened if anybody needs to.
Well, good grief.
How many shots?
Make Willie and I go clear across the street.
Pfizer, you get 5, and Moderna, you get 10.
How many?
10 out of Moderna and 5 out of Pfizer.
I like.
And once we
Moderna.
open a vial, you have to use it within
I
a
know.
certain
Yeah.
time.
I know about that.
Yeah.
I own the Moderna stock.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet he's got stock in it.
That-
Natalie, I'm sorry. We
That's okay.
put you on hold for a few minutes.
That's okay. Did you guys want to get Judge Keller on the telephone
Well,
too, or?
let's have a quick discussion first.
Okay.
We've heard that you're over budget on your
Attorney's fees.
attorney fees by how much?
My figures that I came up with were $6,862.65.
Okay. And that particular line item in your budget is depleted.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have remaining budget that you can
Yes.
move
they're-
around to cover it?
Yeah, they're two separate budgets. The attorney's fees are separate from my budget. But I do have plenty in my contractual to
Okay.
use for that if need be.
Will that deplete that fund?
No.
I think we would rather deplete the fund first than try to go to the general to
Yes,
make up
that's
the
fine.
difference.
Yep.
If,
I don't think it's a rather, I think that's how it has to be.
well, I think that's traditionally how
I mean, I
it
think
should be.
that's probably,
Yeah, and that's fine. If I didn't have room in my court budget.
and then if you
that'd
get
be
in
fine.
trouble, then we can move money from the
Sure.
general.
Yeah. But no, my contractual, since due to the COVID, we didn't start phase 1 of our recording system project, so I've got money.
You still have
there.
that. Well,
That's fine.
I think let's use it first
Okay.
and then see where you're at.
So how do I fill this out then?
Just make it-
That number that I came up with is off of my spreadsheet that I kept, but where we don't have the official reports from the treasurer. I assume it's going to be close, or should I raise it to an even number to transfer to cover if there's any?
That's a pretty good question, and unfortunately, we don't
Don't know
have the
how to
greatest answer.
Ask Brian.
He doesn't know either, I can tell.
Put you on the hot seat.
I mean, I keep a spreadsheet of my own every time I turn a bill in.
Right,
What case it goes to and how much, but
right.
I mean.
You know, Natalie, it may not hurt just to go ahead and transfer a little more just in case.
Okay,
Because, I mean, it's still going to remain within, you know, your budget. Not much,
yeah.
obviously, because you want to be able to carry over to your improvement fund, right?
Right.
So, you know, maybe just a little more just in case.
So I have 6,800, so should we say 7,500? 8,000?
If you have that available, yeah, I think so.
I do. So, okay, I'll just put 7,500. And then you guys just need to sign, I guess.
Well, again, that's one of those budgets that's truly hard to try to set up year to year, because you don't have no idea what's coming down the road. It's kind of like our jail budget.
So the tax lid, the
Beg your
courts,
pardon?
is courthouse under tax lid? It is.
So I think Judge Keller just wanted to explain, she put a cap on our attorney's fees for this coming year. So the rates will remain the same, but there's a limit to be charged. Am I explaining that right? That's
Yeah, basically what it is it's a suggested amount in regards to what each type of case should cost when you're court appointed.
So it's just a little guideline.
Right.
Right.
To say, hey, this is what we're looking at paying on these cases, so you need to figure out how to get that accomplished. And if you're going to go over this amount, you're going to have to come and visit with me, Judge. Come and visit with Judge to explain why you are going over that limit. And then the judge has discretion in regards to if it will be paid in full or reduced or...
Right.
But it's a guideline for the attorneys to know that, like on a first-time DUI, you aren't going to make $5,000. We want it around $500.
So
Okay.
is she wanting to raise that
See,
limit?
last year we didn't have a cap, so without going through the cases, I don't know how many cases went above, say, that 500. But this year she's put that cap on for 2021, so that's her attempt to keep these attorneys' fees on budget.
And they have the same thing like in Sherman. And, the attorneys that are on the court-appointed list, they all practice in these different counties and are aware of limits and are very conscious in regards to what they are billing, knowing that this is kind of the norm in regards to these types of cases.
Well, then you can always kind of rely on your judge to make the determination that, hey, you're overcharging or...
Well, and another thing that you have to keep in mind is you are paying travel time and mileage.
Yeah.
And our attorneys are coming out of Atwood and Colby and Oakley. Because I'm the only attorney in Sherman County that is local for court appointments in Sherman County. So, all of us are traveling. It's getting to the point where I may be traveling to Norton.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't think we need the judge. I think we understand what her intentions are here, and we appreciate that.
Yep, very good.
But I think to get you through this year, let's do it this way.
Yep, and I'm fine with that. I appreciate you guys.
I think that's the easiest avenue to take right now. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Natalie.
Yes, thank you all. Happy New Year.
Yep, same to you. Well, good morning, Brian.
Yeah.
The man from Northern Valley. What can we do for you?
Run through the audit.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll make her snappy because I got a couple more to do yet today. So.
You only got 15 minutes
Yeah,
on ours.
we're-
Tell Travis I was late to the meeting getting this done.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
So how's everything back east?
Hanging in there. Let's see, pass those down. Pretty good, I think, really. I
Been back for a while.
keeping busy. Didn't make it back to doing hunting.
No, not a bit.
Oh.
Lazy Larry. Oh, we had a quarantine bout and that kind of thing,
Yep. Alrighty, so like I said, I'll give you the short, sweet version and get out of here and let's get on to other stuff.
Okay.
we did get the calendar year 2019 audit done, finally. And I'll just, I guess, run through the first few pages, which are the summary statements and that kind of thing, and then the rest just, you can go through whenever you want. But page 1, there are a few pages in, is the opinion on the financial statements. It is a clean opinion, meaning the financial statements are free of material error, in our opinion, and in conformance with the Kansas Municipal Audit and County Guidance, so best opinion you can have, and we didn't find any significant errors in the financial statements themselves, and that's just page 1 and 2. And then page 3 is the summary financial statement. This is one I'll just mainly go over as far as the statements go. This lists all the different funds the county had during 2019 and the activity in each, starting with the beginning cash balance, receipts, expenditures, and ending cash balance. Just go across the page. Obviously, your big ones are going to be your general fund there at the top, and then road and bridge, and then your equipment funds as you work down the page there. Majority of them, I think you've probably seen some of these numbers through the budget process and all that. Majority of them stayed consistent or increased in cash balance, I think, for the most part. So really sitting a lot better than on fund balances than what we're afraid might happen.
We've been that way for years.
Yeah,
now, so.
yeah. It's definitely a lot better situation right now than it was in the past, for sure. So like I said, general there at the top of the page on 2.4 million. About halfway down the page is where you're getting the special equipment funds. Got some pretty substantial balances in a lot of those. And then the other, I guess the little bit different thing this year would be on the second page. We did include the Public Building Commission, and it is treated as a related municipal entity of the county, so it gets included on this statement. And that just shows the remaining receipts and expenditures related to the project fund, and then the bond and interest payments on the outstanding debt. So page 5 is just the composition of cash that shows all the cash, where it's held, what bank, what type of account, that type of thing, and that comes down to the same total cash, just a little over $8 million as of the end of 2019. And that includes all the money the county currently has in the county's name. And then the next several pages are just the notes of the financial statement. Most of these are just standard notes related to, or required by KMAG, the Kansas Municipal Audit and Accounting Guide. Note 1, I don't really need to go over. That's page 6, 7, and 8. That's just the general information about how the county operates as far as accounting, budget process, what funds are required to be budgeted, which ones aren't, and that type of thing. Okay, note 2 on page 8, there is the compliance with Kansas statutes. There were, about 4 funds that were negative on cash balance as of the end of 2019. And those were, looks like all of them were agency type funds on the tax foreclosure, motor vehicle license, insufficient check, and cafeteria plan. And then budget, the hospital fund was exceeded the budget for 2019. So those were the only, I guess, statutory compliance issues that we did note. Note 3 is just deposits and investments, just description of the statutes and rules the county has to follow, and that all, at the bottom of the page there's a note that all the bank balance was covered either by FDIC insurance or securities pledge. So all the deposits were secured at the end of the year. Page 9, note 4, that's the Capers note, a description of the plan, the contribution structure, and the total contributions for Cheyenne County for 2019, which were $162,000 almost. And then the last 2 paragraphs are the net pension liability note that we're now required to include, And that just is a calculation, like I said before, done by Capers that is, or actually done by a third-party firm employed by Capers that comes up with the proportionate share for each employer of the unfunded liability. As of the end of 2019, they came up with Cheyenne County's share to be $1,271,455. See if there's anything else real major. It's most of the rest of it's just the standard stuff. Got a list of transfers and amounts there on page 10. Page 11, note 10 is about the landfill and how that's structured and expected life, remaining expected life of it. And it's kind of standard stuff that we do every year. Page 12, note 11 is the capital projects. That just shows the remaining expenditures related to the home for the aged construction. And then note 12, subsequent events. This is one that AICPA in Kansas and everybody's suggested we include is just a broad note saying, due to the pandemic, we don't know the possible future financial consequences or effects on the county going forward. So, and finally on page 13 is the debt schedule for the county. This is any outstanding debt as of the end of 2019, which only the one was the bonds for the home for the aged. And the top part is the activity description of the bonds and then the activity for the year, and then the bottom part is the future payments, both principal and interest broken out by year for the first 5 years and 5 years to maturity after that. So that just shows the future payments that are required on those. Then the remaining pages of the packet are just the supplementary information, the detailed receipts and expenditures for each fund, which I don't need to go through unless you guys really want to. Bore you to death doing that for sure. So
I have to go across the street again.
yeah. So all in all, like I said, I think financially wise, things are in pretty decent shape. About the only things we noted, I guess, during the course of the audit, there's kind of the same thing every year. We always have a few payroll liability accounts within the software that don't always clear out at the end of the year, which that's just kind of something that's always been the way it's been, and that's not, I don't think, anything too critical. And then we weren't able to obtain a copy of the reconciliation of the tax roll from the treasurer. It was requested numerous times, we just never got it. As far as our audit, we do other procedures to satisfy our requirements, so it's not crucial, but it is something that should be done, and hopefully going forward will be. So
We had the same hope.
Yep. So that was the only couple things that I did want to mention, at least to you. Other than that,
Well, as long as everything's looking good. And I'm like you, I'm a little surprised that,
yeah, I know John, when he was going through working on the budget, was pretty surprised about.
well, pleasantly so.
Yes, very pleasant. It's always good to have the pleasant surprises. And,
So we need to keep going down this same path.
Yep.
I don't think we have any,
Yep, I think you're on the right track. And
I
it's
do too.
been-
Pipeline coming out of, I think that's what saved
Yep,
us. So.
valuation jumped up quite a bit there. I know that helped out a lot, so.
But also just reading through how many were under budget
Yeah.
and
Yep.
by how much.
That's
they
what I
were
was looking through
Under budget.
when I was reviewing. It was like just looking through in the general fund is like, I usually don't see that many under budget and that significantly under budget. And I think there was a lot of very conscious effort to
well, I think so
minimize as
too. And I
much as
think
possible.
our department heads need a pat on the back for that, because we had asked them to kind of keep control of their budget in the last couple of years, and they're complying the best they can.
So yeah, I think it's paid off for sure, and will continue to if you stay on that path. So yeah, got that. I guess if you guys are good with it, just usually do a motion, I think, to accept the audit, and then I'll need to have a couple signatures on Oh, the letter, it says you gave us everything we requested and didn't withhold information. Whoever the chairman is.
Hit me for today.
For today, one more day.
One more day. Okay, do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the auditor's report for the year ending 2019?
Motion to approve the audit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if the treasurer's signature is going to be possible or not.
She's here and all. I think she was, but
Okay, I'll check and see.
Brian, when was it that you were talking about the accounts that were over?
Oh, the negative cash. Well, there's a note about it, and then the actual, if you flip clear back on, it'd be the last couple pages. Clear at the end is where the actual numbers are. There's one on page 42, the tax foreclosure fund. That one has been negative. Wasn't surprising. Then down about middle of the page, that's the motor vehicle license is negative 37. I assume in that situation more got remitted to the state possibly than was supposed to. I'm not for sure. Insufficient check there towards the bottom of page 42 is the negative 648.
Where's that?
Bottom, or about, 5 up on page 42 from the bottom, under other agency funds.
What is that?
Wherever bad checks get cleared through that fund generally. So that's one that a lot of times will run negative. It just matter the way it works. And then the other one was page 43, the cafeteria plan. That one I'm not for sure. I guess what happened on that, so that's one.
turnover in employees, I think.
That'd be my suspicion. So that was 1776 negatives. Not big dollar amounts, but something to watch. And I think that was a product of everything going on that just didn't get monitored as well as it should have.
Well, it's been a weird year.
It has.
Just for information, like the Fish and Game Fund, did we spend that money or?
All those funds there on page 42 and 40.
There was $4,200 in it.
That goes to the state.
Yep, all those pages,
That
all,
goes to the state.
yeah, all those
Oh, is that licenses?
funds, yeah.
That's what we sell in my office.
Yeah, all those funds on 42 and 43, those are all ones that are collected by the county and then remitted to other parties.
Okay.
Like the top part, the tax funds, that's where the activity is, where the treasurer collects the taxes and the disbursements are just all the different taxing entities. And same way with the state funds, they go collect the money and then it's remitted to the state. So that's all just money basically the county handles, but it does. Handles, but does not actually control it, I guess you would say. So, and you can see that's a pretty big dollar figure. Ending cash for all those funds is 3.7 million, so that's a good chunk. That's why you don't just have that $8 million just to spend. It's tied up.
Well, Brian, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Any more questions or anything for Brian?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. So,
Still got 7 minutes.
I can sit here and chat if you want. I'm pretty boring, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm
so.
wondering, do you guys have any questions
Yeah.
in regards to the transition with the treasurers and if there's,
With the what?
with the treasurer, there's going to be a transition, like final audits that need to be done before the newly elected goes in? Does that need to be done?
Typically, the most I've ever done, I guess, is, May will, the treasurer will do, or should do, a ending cash count before transferring over to the new treasurer. We have observed those before. Outside of that, there's probably not a lot more that we would need to do, I wouldn't think.
Because I know like the incoming was wanting like an audit done so that they were able to tell exactly where the county was when she takes over.
And when are they transitioning?
October.
October, that's what I figured. So, not sure what.
Would that be kind of like a different audit?
Yeah, it would be definitely separate. It might be a deal where, I mean, the incoming treasurer would be the one that would need to, I guess, kind of specify specific concerns.
What she's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it can't just be a broad, like, make sure everything's right. That's going to be,
Yeah, that'd be impossible.
yeah, for anybody. And so I guess that'd be my thought would, if she has specific concerns, I mean,
Would it be okay if we had her get in contact with
Yeah,
you?
definitely,
to
definitely,
say,
so-
okay, here's what I'm looking at.
I guess my thought would be main concerns would be, making sure that the taxes have been distributed timely and properly so far throughout the year. Like I said, cash on hand, make sure that all reconciles, make sure there's not, a bunch of deposits that haven't been made that should have been, make sure that, stuff's been recorded and bank account's been reconciled, just general stuff like that's going to be your
And that's gonna be a big concern because
main
she's
concern.
7 months behind.
I didn't
right
say, I
now.
know we waited till, I don't even know when to get December 31st of 19 reconciliations,
I
and,
mean, she was a little bit behind last year.
Yeah.
This time she's way behind.
yeah, so I guess that would be, those types of things, I guess, would be probably the most concern, and that's something, we can either give her guidance or assist with for sure, but yeah, she can certainly contact us.
Well, I think I would sure encourage her before she takes office to make contact.
Yep.
I'm thinking the sooner the better.
Yep, that's fine.
Given the status of affairs.
Yep, that's fine, and we can.
Because, I mean, basically what you're saying is all of the daily work, bank statement reconciliation, cash on hand, disbursements, you want all of that to date when she walks out of the office.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the best scenario would be all up to date and
And if
complete.
that doesn't happen,
Somebody will be going back and recreating a lot of work, I guess. Which has happened. I mean, it's happened other places too.
I would anticipate that.
Stuff like bank reconciliations, it's going to be time consuming, but it's possible to go back and do those months at a time. Distributions, I guess I wouldn't be as concerned about because those most likely will happen.
Kinda keeps
Because,
a tab on.
and the other places
People
that
don't get their money.
I was gonna say, people don't get their money,
Yeah, they're-
and
Yeah.
you'll know about it
Yeah.
well before that. So yeah, the bank reconciliations and the daily statements and stuff like that's probably the bigger concern. Which it's not a good position to put somebody in if they're coming in new and they have to try and catch up for 9 months. But that may be what happens. And so, but yeah,
We'll see.
Definitely, she can sure contact us if she has any concerns or questions or wants us to help out at all or whatever.
All right, well, you guys, thanks again. Thank
Yep.
John and
Yep.
everybody.
Will do. Yep.
We
Thank
do
you, guys.
appreciate the work you do. so
All righty.
Safe trip.
Yep.
I think our contract's up with them.
I'm sorry.
I think our contract is up with them.
Oh, really? They've done us a good job, as far as I'm concerned. I would encourage you guys to retain them if possible.
I appreciate their patience. Anytime you ask them a question, it's good.
Well, they've definitely helped our financial countywide over the last couple of years. Thank you, Rodney.
I guess I have to go ahead and try some more of this. now.
Sure, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's what I just don't understand this stuff.
I do, but not well enough
But
to,
I don't understand how you can be a year behind on it.
oh,
It seems like we ought to be having an audit to that For
We should have
20
had this
For
before,
20.
we should have had this before we did the audit, or
Yes.
did the budget
Yes.
in July.
That's what I mean.
Good, you.
I mean, we've got another year now. It's weird.
Which they can't do anything with because she's still, I think, in what, May?
Don't ever bother me again. You
He's
figure
not
that
in a
that's the best way to get that done?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can track you down up here better than anywhere else.
We'll wait till Scott gets back.
Sorry.
I'm just looking to transfer some money. We've bought some supplies that we needed this year. Envelopes, we buy every 2 to 3 years, and door hangers, probably 5 to 6, and we were running low. And so I just, obviously, personnel is with not having
You're
an
well
employee.
within your budget,
Yes.
yeah.
And so I just want to transfer 1,000 from personnel to commodities to cover
Yeah.
that amount, and I've got a few small things that might be coming out.
Do we need a motion on that?
Yeah.
Okay, need a motion to go ahead and approve the fund transfer of $1,000 from the
Motion.
appraiser's accounts.
Motion to approve the transfer of 1,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
Maybe
sorry.
you sign it?
I'll just,
That's all I had.
All right, thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. Have a happy new year.
Same to you. Good morning, you must be Jace. Yeah. Good morning, come on up. We're ready for you.
That's the brief introduction. My name is Chase Chipperfield. We farm with my family in the southwest corner of Cheyenne County and also in Sherman County some. I live in Sherman County. But we have an anhydrous ammonia tank at near the intersections of Road 14 and C in Cheyenne County right now. And we'd like to move that tank about 10 miles west to a location just a half mile north of Road 6 and A. I think I've got some materials here. If you want to look at them.
it's the same thing.
Okay.
I just made one copy though.
Yeah, I've got 3 copies if you want.
And excuse me again, that's north of 6 and what?
A, the county line there. Anyway,
So that's where your grain bins are right there.
yes,
Okay.
yes, across the road from them. There's currently some old grain bins there. We're getting those torn down right now. But the Kansas Department of Ag wants me to get your approval first before I can file the application.
What is involved moving them? Just emptying them and
Yeah,
load them up and,
just the crane comes in, lifts it up onto the trailer and hauls it over to the next site and unloads it into the new site. We're going to put some concrete piers in there, and they just set it on the piers.
and you get permits from the state or anything?
Yes, they'll have to inspect it all before we can fill it. We have to get the plumbing all installed and,
No, I meant to move it though.
oh, yes, they'll have to review my application here. I got a copy of it too, and They look at the distances it is from the road and from any nearby houses or the property lines and all those things.
And you've got their approval already. I mean, they've seen this, or you submitted this?
They've seen it, and I've submitted it to them, but they won't look at it until you
Till
guys approve it.
Okay.
I sent a copy to Leslie a couple weeks ago, and I think she reviewed it as well.
I did, and responded to Jace in that everything was to be in order for approval by the commissioners so he can make application.
Okay. Do you hear a motion to go ahead and approve the relocation of the St. Hadrian's tank?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And it's that easy. I guess we got some
You
paperwork
just need to
to sign.
sign that. You need a letter from you.
Okay.
All right, this is what you did in March for the other folks? Is that about the
Pretty
same?
much the same thing.
Okay, yeah. Does it need notarized or anything? Did you do it that time?
No.
If you have any trouble, just get back with us.
Okay,
I
yep.
think all we did was
That's all.
chairman signed it and that was it.
That's all I remember.
Okay, yep. All right, that should work.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason. Nice meeting you.
Yep, me too.
Sorry.
Ready for Dave?
Yeah, I'm gonna run downstairs real quick. Let's take 2 minutes.
I'll just leave everything on.
About 10 minutes exactly. Dave.
Ready for you if you're ready.
These hold pretty good, don't you think?
What's that?
They're holding pretty steady.
Yeah, they are holding pretty steady, but what we want to see is, like after that spike in November, where we had 22 positive.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see a consistent decline from that, but that's not what's happened. You've got that, and then on the 21st of December, you've got another spike at 26. So there hasn't been a consistent, just like we haven't hit it, and we're just.
Yeah. Be nice if somebody could figure it out. Dave, how are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing well.
Good.
How's Byron, have you heard?
We're on tape, so.
Huh?
We are on tape, so.
Oh, never mind.
Don't tell you that.
Okay, good morning, Dave.
Morning.
I think we're ready.
I just got two things. I got culvert bids here. The question on these is, There was two of them that was bid at 12 gauge, and then one of them was bid at 14 gauge. 14 gauge is a little lighter as far as that goes, and that's the lower price one.
But the 12 gauge is the better quality. I got a lesson in culverts.
And metal gauges, how's that?
Yes.
Yeah, always remember that the lower the number, the heavier the gauge.
So what do you recommend?
We always, we always liked naturally the heavier gauge one, but when we sent it out, it had to meet state specs. And the 14 gauge will meet state specs. So,
But for the price difference on the bids, you can get better quality for a nominal amount above the bid on the 14, right?
I think it'd probably be a better deal, yes, myself.
Because what was the difference, like $600?
Yeah, $600 difference or something real close to that.
Okay, on which one are we looking at?
Okay, the higher one is
Here's 6270.
is 6276 for the 12 gauge.
Right.
He actually bid the 14 gauge, which is 39.2550.
Okay.
Next would be DC wholesale at 47.3050, and then J&J would be at 45.25.
But that third one is the 12 gauge, right?
This is the
They
12
all-
gauge. This is 12 gauge. This is
And
the
this-
14,
and
and
that
this is a
number's
12.
12.
So he's high with this one as far as that goes, the 12 gauge.
Okay, I got it.
I thought it was odd when the other two bid the 12 gauge. I sure I sent them an email and said, did the state spec change or anything like that? And they said, no, we had this in stock and we could give you a
We
better
just have
deal.
it, yeah.
And I think it'd be higher if we went, the other one. And I'm like, okay. And this would be the culvert we're putting in Road T, 6 miles north of Bird City.
6 miles north, okay.
When we take it out, so we get credit, on the one south of Bird City.
So J&J drainage?
I'm sorry?
J&J drainage?
Yes.
That's your recommendation?
If we want to go to heavier gauge, that'd be the one I'd go with, so.
I think you need to look long-term in regards to this project. I mean, yes, state specs are 14 gauge, but if you go with the 12 gauge, it's going to last longer and be a better quality.
And not for that terribly much more money.
Right, well,
Yeah.
I think it's 600.
Yeah.
I agree.
39 to what, 45?
And you got longer, less chance of rust and things like that as far as that goes too, so.